Hell yeah, brother. You're on the Cleetus McFarland YouTube channel.
Talking about drag racing today.
Give me a good drag race.
Golly. So guys, you know we've been distracted with the Freedom Factory content a whole bunch, but we gotta stick to our roots and we gotta get the drag cars out. And Ruby and Leroy have been kind of sitting stagnant for a little bit, so I want to get them back out. I want to get this program back where it should be, because although we will be doing less drag racing, that's just how it's gonna be. I want these cars to be 100% ready to rip for when we do drag race at some of the bigger shows. Like, you know, obviously we're doing race week, we're gonna try and do another drag week maybe. We got LS Fest, all those types of events, streetcar takeover. There's quite a few drag races we want to do this year, and the cars need to be ready. Ruby nor Leroy are ready for drag racing. Leroy especially, which we're going to talk about later in this video. But from the sounds of it, our girl Ruby is getting a bigger turbo today, so we're going to talk about that. But I also want to show you guys, as you know, the last time I drag raced this, I red lit in the finals, and I haven't driven the car literally since then. But I was hanging out with Tom Bailey, so I drove Ruby up to the track, and it turns out, I mean, I still take the blame for it, but if I hold the trans brake and then hit the bump button, the car just creeps. And I creeped out of the beams and red lit and lost, and I'll show you right now that I can't even control it because it'll just do it. So
There it is.
everyone who thought he doesn't exist anymore. We got this new handy dandy Mr. Gasket thingamabobber too.
The Pumper 9000.
Don't mind the coronavirus on my arm.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I burned the hell out of my arm on a header last weekend, so it happens, folks. Oh, that helps. Dude, look at it. We got our own freaking gas pump, basically. Look at this. All you gotta do is hook this thing up to 12 volts, and then you have your own fuel station. And if your barrel's next, next to your car,
You could just put it right in.
Nothing like a little bit of Ignite on your socks.
Well, you could have just backed Ruby in.
I know, the front wasn't blocked.
Yeah, there's a more Ignite.
Yeah, so
All the Ignite.
A couple gallons in Ruby. We're gonna throw a couple gallons in Ruby before we put her on the two-step. We don't want to.
It's a good idea. Don't lean it out.
Don't want to lean it out.
Look at that stance on James.
Think about that. I mean, I tapped it one time. Put my hand up. No swerve on it. I don't know if you can hear the solenoid clicking or anything.
It's like
Shuddering too. Like
try to make that thing.
What?
It's acting like once you hit that button one time, it's continually hitting the button. Like you can't hear it once it clicks.
I had someone message me, Kevin, and say that it's probably the reverse clutches. When he saw the video, he goes, "It doesn't look like you hit it twice. It looks like it was reverse clutches are slipping." Might not be all the way in gear.
It might not be all the way down in first, and then when you jolt it like that and it goes to try to reactivate it, it might be too far pushed through it.
Potentially.
I don't know. Let us know what you think, people. We'll address that later. Otherwise, the transmission's perfect. I mean, when I'm on the street and stuff ripping it, it feels fine. But we never had this problem. We rebuilt it the one time because I overheated it. and never had a problem.
Yeah, it got new reverse clutches then.
Yeah, but now, if I freaking do this, if I try and bump in without my left foot pressing that brake real hard, it just starts to creep, and that's what happened to me in the finals. So, I mean, it's still my fault. I should have just held the brake like I did the whole rest of the day. But at this point, I said we just back this unit in, and we can talk about our Turbski plans. All right, folks. So, right before the Freedom Factory stuff all came together, we had this turbo and we had this flange ordered because we had plans of putting it on Ruby and trying to make her a 7-second car. So we are back to that plan now that we have slowed down a little bit on Freedom Factory stuff, and we're just waiting on a couple background items to go through on some things for some other projects there, which you'll see very soon. But we want to get the drag racing brought back. What we have here is a Precision 8884. This is an 88mm Turbski. On there's an 8385, and this is actually a T6 housing too, and a V-band inlet. This turbo can move significantly more air than old Rubies right now. So what we're gonna do is pop this thing open, and we're gonna show you what we're dealing with here, folks.
Oh, scratcher.
Easy.
So, and then if some of you guys remember, I don't know if we ever showed it. This was originally going to be the single turbo that was going on the El Camino, but we never really showed them.
Never opened it. We just showed them a box.
Yeah. So this this turbo has been repurposed for Ruby, and the El Camino is going to get twins, so, or a giant single. Unsure. We got to talk about that more. So let's show you what we got for our girl Ruby here. Dude, this front housing.
Oh,
so
man.
goofy compared to what we normally have. Normally we're just T4 chilling.
Man.
This is an absolute unit of a turbo. Look at that unit.
There you go.
there,
James
James?
found the directions.
This is a.
Dude, look at the size of this wheel.
Billet wheel.
Holy. So for size comparison, my entire fist fits in there pretty well. Let's go over yonder. It'd be close, but my fist is definitely bigger than the inlet, so. That's just off of redneck measurements there. We can tell this turbo is going to make a lot more power. Look at the back house. Dude, we're going to have to brace this thing. It might be too heavy for the old stand out of the hood trick that we do.
Possibly.
Whoa, what are you saying against your fabrication skills?
I mean, shoot, if anyone can do it, it's McFarland Fab. Let's see what the back housing looks like. Yeah, that's a big spinning boy.
That's a lot of back housing.
Dude, that's awesome. So, this thing is our plan to go 7s, because that turbo is pretty much tapped. We've gotten to a point where we'll run like 30 pounds of boost and then turn it down to 24 pounds of boost, and the car goes the same speed, if not a little bit quicker. So we've got that one maxed out as far as timing and boost. We are going to put the bigger turbo on, hopefully run less boost, less timing, move more air, and just
Mo power.
rip this thing. So then I got this from the same guy that sent us the flange that's on the car. Remember this guy sent in this flange and we fabbed it up that one day? Well, I was like, brother, we just put your T4 one on. Can you send us a T6 one? So B&M right there. He sent us this, which is
a nice piece.
Really nice piece. It almost looks like I welded it.
It does look a little like you welded it.
Really hard.
Hold it a little farther.
Close your eyes and dream.
About there.
Hold on. Can you see it from there?
I can't even see it. Perfect.
So, this is all gonna work the exact same. We're gonna chop that other flange off. We're gonna run the same McFarland Fab. What is this, the 3.0 kit?
Might as well just V-band all this stuff.
4.0? We're going 5.0.
Make it easy to keep swapping.
I know, we should. Then we could go right back to that turbo kit.
Just weld some V-bands to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's actually not a horrible idea. So Ruby is getting an 88mm turbo, and this will be her first outing going for 7s. She's not that far. She's ran 840s, but that last 4/10 right there that's huge steps. I mean, you guys remember with Leroy how hard we had to push him to get him from an 840 to a 799. I mean, that's tough.
Just think about the 3 weeks of going from an 810 to a 7.
Oh, dude,
You're talking 2/10, and it took 3 weeks and 4 head gaskets and draining the water out of the block.
So there's no doubt that we're probably gonna run through a head gasket in this process, but if we can do it on this engine, I'll be stoked. If this engine lets go, no big deal. We're putting in the 427 we've got for it, because sooner or later we want this to be a 7-second car that can consistently go out and bog a 7 with no issues. So it's got to be, it's got to get run through its paces before we take it on any more long distance driving and races, things like that. So this week, Ruby gets a new turbo, gets a new kit, and Thursday we're gonna take it racing.
And now this turbo is going on the mystery machine, right?
Yes.
Then we're buying a clone to this, and it's going on that.
Cooper, you'll be like
83,
full throttle, then boom. Then
That's gonna be you soon.
Then I'll just blow both tires in about 10 seconds. I personally lost interest in running this car when we took the alternator off, because I mean, dude, it really, James is laughing because he's such a full race car.
Guys, I turned my race car into a race car, and now I hate it.
Well, dude, I mean, it got to a point where like you can't just get in the car and turn it on and go freaking drive it. Like that's how Leroy always was. And then we take the alternator off. You take it for one lap. You got to turn it off, hook it up to the battery charger, and leave it. And granted, it was great for World Cup because we didn't have to worry about the belt flying off and stuff. But my main priority, and I'm not saying like just the alternator was the only reason I freaking lost interest in it. There's so many other factors going on. But I don't know, it kind of killed the vibe in me. I was like, dude, this thing, I can't even drive it but to the end of the track and back, and I'm worried about the voltage. Like, I just want this to go back to having an alternator and being able to key it on, drive it around, screw around, do whatever I want. Not have, even in Freedom Factory video, I did 2 laps and then I was out of voltage, so I had to go park it. It's like, I want to get that taken care of right away. And then what we really need to start doing is focusing on the 1/8 mile instead of the 1/4 mile, because basically when we were at what's called World Cup, we just turned the car up to its absolute full rip to run the numbers we wanted. Whereas if we were running like a 480 in the 1/8, we could probably run those numbers with ease. So we're kind of doing it wrong, to be honest. It worked for a while.
We just ran out of time with testing, you know.
Yeah,
Just went for it. The only way to go for it with no testing is send it on all the boosts in 3rd and 4th gear.
And that's exactly what we did. So the goal with Leroy moving forward is to slow things down, to quit worrying about that 1/4 mile time so much. We need to get this thing to run a 4-second 1/8 mile, because we're running like a 5.1 second 1/8 mile and then just putting all the sauce in 3rd and 4th gear and dipping into the 770s barely. If we get this thing to run a 490 in the 1/8, there's no reason why I can't go a 760 or a 750.
It'll go just getting that, just like a 495 even, is a solid 768, 767 pass with ease, not having almost 35, 40 pounds of boost in it off the back. So that's what we need to do.
That's what we need to do. So the plan is for Leroy then, we are going to take him to the drag strip this week as well with Ruby and just run him and see where he's at, see what's going on. I know the first thing I'm going to want to do is put some wheel speed sensors on this car, because we do boost by gear and it's not enough data points to raise the boost fast enough. We really need to switch to boost by speed like James and I have been talking about, and that'll definitely improve things. We killed our battery, this car's been sitting so long, so it's time to get the Corvettes back to their former glory, make Ruby and Leroy great again, and I don't know, we'll be well on our way. So in the mix of all this, we have the C8 coming in, which is going to be insane because that's going to throw a mix and everything. But be patient with these cars. We don't have any big races coming up, so working on them is going to get dragged out. We're going to work on them here and there. I mean, the turbo kit is going to happen really quick, but getting Leroy dialed, he might have to go to Kevin's shop to get a couple sensors put on. That's what Kevin's really, really good at. So
yeah, we tried. We put this on there.
Yeah, I did see an attempt here.
Oh yeah, we tried the wheel speed sensor.
We couldn't get it to work.
I don't know what we did wrong. We tried the diff, we tried this. We just apparently suck at putting in a wheel speed sensor. So we want to get this thing dialed in for you guys because Leroy's our boy. You guys all love him. You guys all love Ruby. And we want to give you guys the content that you are here for. You know, the Freedom Factory stuff's amazing, but we want to keep it balanced. And some people were letting us know that we weren't doing a good job balancing it. So here we are. We're going to bring back some drag racing for you, but that is it for today. Watch out for some updates. Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for watching Do It For Today. We'll freaking see you later.